Looking back at the film, and we were talking about just how it had a different feel to it, I guess. How much that kind of energized you guys about what could be to come here moving forward?
Yeah, and what's interesting is that's a lot of people that watch from the outside and people whose opinions I value. The coaches and stuff. They're like, man, you guys just had an energy to you, and I described it was kind of this blue wave that kept just coming at you, and that's hard to deal with. And that's what you envision when you have a team that has some depth, and is you want everybody playing their best and everybody, so then it can be that. So, I thought we started great, and then it just kept getting better as you kept adding guys into the game, and that's what, that's encouraging, because I looked up, we were playing really good, and then you sub and you're like, we're subbing in an all Mountain West level guy at least, and then some other guys that are coming that way. And so that's really encouraging, and that's what you want. But to get that, everybody's got to be playing with great energy and enthusiasm, and because it wasn't like you just all of a sudden made every shot you took. It wasn't it. It was the passion and the joy that we played with, and that's what we were always trying to get to. That's what I think sometimes expectations create crises or mental blocks for players, and they think they have to be perfect. They think that they're going to go make every shot, and we kind of threw that out the window with our approach. Like, hey, let that go and just play with joy, passion, togetherness. That's the best thing about our program, and that's what it sure looked like. So I was really encouraged.
It seems like, in years past, Leon, there are times in conference games you're only going like 7 deep, and like you almost have to. Everybody knows their role because there's only 7 of them, right? You're a starter. You're the 2 guys off the bench.
Right.
In this case, how much longer does it take everybody to make sure they understand their role?
Yeah.
And needing the complete buy-in, so everybody plays with the energy they did the other night.
Yeah, that's well said, because that's what I'm going through. Like, and then just when you start to maybe figure something out, a guy gets hurt, and then another guy. So there's always the moving parts and the variables that you can't account for, and so that's the challenge. Is you want to be able to put the right groups together, push the right buttons that way, but and then you get everybody clicking together. But it just seems like, maybe what's helped us too is that during practices in the fall, we mixed groups up a lot, and it became kind of seamless. But it does seem like guys are starting to understand things better, and they should, because it's January. Freshmen aren't freshmen anymore, and this is a group of good players that you feel are starting to click together in a way that shows up on the floor.
It seems like with what you guys are trying to do this year, that it's also kind of worth the wait. Like, you're going to reap the benefits from this at some point. At times, it seems, from playing more bodies.
Yeah, you usually do because it is a grind. I was watching some other coaches in the league talk about it, and it's a grind going from, you play on Saturday, and then you play again on Tuesday, and then, you got turn around and play again on Saturday. It just keeps coming at you, and there's none that you're going, okay, well, we don't have to prep, or we don't have to show up for this one. It'll be, every game has its unique challenges, and you have to be ready, and you have to be mentally ready, and your team has to know what they're doing, and there's not much time to do it in. And so it just keeps coming at you, and you'd like to be able to pause and have a week in between every game and be able to fix all the things you need to fix and add the things you need to add, but you don't. You have to be able to do it on the fly.
What does your team need to do Saturday at a place that is always a tough place to play with, always a good team? So what do you want to see out of your team?
Well, just being able to handle those kind of circumstances, and it's been a tough place to play since the dawn of men, since since they've had basketball there, and it's nothing new. It's a great atmosphere and great energy, and a great team. So you got a lot of challenges that you got to be able to step up to, and you got to be a together unit. Otherwise, you have no chance.
What do you see out of Utah State?
They're just a complete team, and they're playing, with great synergy and togetherness, and they play really hard, and they're scoring really easily, it seems like, and their defense has created big problems for a lot of people. So that's right there. That's a lot of challenges. There's They're good on both ends of the floor, and they're good personnel, well coached, and great atmosphere. So that's a lot of things that you got to overcome to go get it done.
You guys have had a lot of tough matches with them down there. How much does that atmosphere become even harder when they're rolling like the way they are?
Well, yeah, the better team, the harder it is to win, no doubt, and they certainly have that this year.
You try to push it up 2 days so the students wouldn't be back.
Oh wow, yeah, but somehow they'll be there. I'm sure students will come in early for that.
What in terms of just the coaches have changed, but they keep winning and the results keep coming. I know part of it's the home court, but
Right.
I mean, just what have you seen from them, and to be able to just year after year, no matter who the coach is, who the players are, they can. The last 5-6 years here, they've been on a roll.
Yeah, and I think that when I took this job, that was one of my first priorities. Like, you can't have a great basketball program without a great home court. You can't. I mean, you look at all around the country, all the great ones, their home court, and the better their home court, the better the program is. And so, the coaches that took these jobs had that built in. They didn't have to start from scratch and okay, well, let's try to get 2,000 fans. Let's try to get 4,000 and build it up. Let's try to teach them how to be basketball fans. That's already built into the job, and that's a great place to start. The other thing, that I've talked about is, I've been in this league a long time, and I've seen 40 coaches come and go. They're all good coaches. You get a job in the Mountain West, you've earned it, and you've done something to get that job. And so these aren't entry-level coaches that well, let's give that guy a try. He seems like a nice guy. These are guys that know how to coach, and that's what they got now. A guy that's won games and has done it, and is able to come in. And sometimes when you come in with new stuff and teams, and you haven't seen it before, you haven't played against it before, sometimes it takes a while to adjust to that. And so sometimes that's an advantage, to come into a league with this defense they're playing right now. None of us have played against them doing this before, and so it's a bit of it, because you look at our history with San Diego State. There was a lot of trial and error for us until we figured out what works, what doesn't work. That's the case when you see unique programs that run unique things, and I think they've done a good job with that.
What is unique about their zone?
Well, it's just in the league, no one's really playing something like that the way they play it, and so it's just a little bit different, and they know what they're doing. They play it really hard, and it fits their personnel, I think, and it sure looks like it, and it's worked well.
You've been pretty adamant that the shooting is going to correct itself in terms of the outside shooting and all that. I mean, I'm sure you'd take 15 for 27 or whatever on Saturday, but I mean, just in general of the numbers correcting, it would seem like, hey, how do we beat them? Let's play zone, pack it in, make them beat us from the outside.
Yeah.
I mean, that's obviously what they do, but I mean, what are you guys do, I guess, to get some of those shots to start falling if teams are going to play you that way?
Yeah, you have to. I mean, that's basketball. You have to be able to make shots to win, and if you have to get good shots first of all, and that helps you make them more. But if you keep fighting to get good shots, the thing that saved our bacon, and Tuesday was a good example, is, and it probably helps your mentality as a shooter, that if I was standing on the tee box and I knew that if I shanked it in the woods, somebody was going to go run and get it and put it back up on the tee for me, I'd probably be a better golfer. Well,
That's why you buy all those mulligans.
that's exactly. But that's kind of what we're doing on the glass a little bit. Like Tuesday night, we missed some shots. Didn't matter. We went and got them, but maybe that gives you a little more confidence as a shooter. Like, it doesn't matter, because that's how you have to be as a shooter. You can't overthink it, overanalyze it, But I've said this earlier. The value, like what we had last year, we had guys that have made a lot of threes in a lot of games, and the experience of making threes, and the confidence knowing that if I start out over 3, I'll make, it'll correct. That confidence goes a long ways with shooters. And when you have a bunch of guys that are good shooters, but they haven't made a ton in games yet, like some of our young guys, and even Meadows, only a sophomore. And, well, the more game experience, the more games they get comfortable, the better they are handling a few misses, and then the ball starts going in more consistently. And I think we're going to see that, guys that are just getting more comfortable. And away we go.
Are you expecting RJ back, or is he going to be out for a little while?
I don't know yet. I'm not sure. So I think he's going to be in a mask. And with RJ's style of play and personality, I was kind of thinking he should Nacho Libre it and paint it all up. And I think I might be one of the only coaches to suggest something like that. And RJ shook his head like, really? So you never know. But I think that would fit his personality. So, but we're hoping. Yeah, we're hopeful.
I know we've chatted about how exciting Alvaro is to watch, but 9 assists, 0 turnovers, given nice. Is that a case of him just getting to know the rest of the team?
And the team getting to know him. And you know, I'm excited to see the game, because it'll happen where all the shots drop. Because if you look at the passes he threw, he probably would have had about 14 or 15 assists had we made some of those shots. But that's basketball. You're not going to make all of them. But there will be nights when that happens, and then you're going to be like, wow. You know, then the school record comes down probably.
How silly is that, Leon? Like, you're looking across and you see 13 points, and 9 assists, 37 minutes, and then you see that goose egg in the turnover column in a conference game. Like,
yeah.
9 assists, 0 turnovers, 37 minutes since UNLV.
And that is because I want him to have the freedom to take some chances, and that's why other people's turnovers are so important not to have. Like, we can't have everybody turn it over 2 times and then let Al turn it over 5, because, you know, I remember John Stockton once said that some of his best games were his highest turnover games, because he was taking the chances, and the ones that he completed ended up being layups. So I don't want Al to have to like play it too close to the vest. Doesn't mean, you know, you want 7 turnovers and 7 assists. If you get 7 turnovers, we'll have 21 assists. I mean, and so he has to have that freedom to do it. But to be able to have the toughness and the quick decision making to be able to get 9 and 0, I mean, that's pretty impressive.
What's it like talking to Peanut after the game? And I mean, I know you have the ultimate confidence in all your players, but to some degree, seeing's got to be believing in a game too, right? Like, he's not going up against Corbin, you know, in game 2. It's a UNLV conference game.
I know.
So
after sitting there I think it was more the telling sign was more the how he answered the question I asked him one day after practice when he was just lighting us up from 3, and I said to him, like, Peanut, I'm just curious, can you do that in a game? And his answer came back so quick. Heck yeah, Coach, I can do that. And I'm like, it wasn't his answer, it was how quickly and confidently he said it that I'm like, probably should play that guy. So that's what a good player has to have, that ultimate confidence. And that's what I told him before the game. I said, hey, listen, I'm not putting you in there because I love you. I'm not putting you in there because of charity. I'm putting you in there because you can make this team better and you're ready for it and you're a good enough player to do it. That's why I'm doing it. So have confidence, play that way, and that's certainly what he did.
After he hit that corner 3, did he walk by and say, I told you so?
I don't think he's got that moxie yet. I'd love it though if he did. I'd love that. That's the guys I want out there.
So he wasn't blowing a kiss to you?
No, he wasn't blowing a kiss. If he did that to me, I would just like, okay, those are the guys you have to have, and you know, that's what it takes to be a great player, and you know, that supreme confidence, because shooting is you know, Tyson and I talk about this stuff all the time. We were talking about how Curry had 6 points the other night and was 0 for whatever. You know, you're talking about the greatest shooter in the history of the game of basketball. That's the reality of it. So you have to have that swagger, that confidence to be able to just keep doing it, you know, keep doing it. Just let it fly.
What's the, one more for me, what's your favorite thing about just, you know, Tyson Degenhardt, his 4th year in your program? I know he got a haircut recently, I think. He posted about it on social media, but like, what are you just enjoying about him this year?
You know, you never want to take for granted the consistent greatness, because sometimes when you get a guy that's that consistent, you know, we've seen it. We saw it on the football field with Ashton. I mean, don't take it for granted 100-yard games and, well, darn it, he didn't get 200. Well, no, that's pretty darn good. I mean, it's, you know, and we talk about this, you know, me and my coaching buddies, that sometimes expectations, if the expectations are high, the appreciation maybe goes down. And we have high expectations for these great players and great guys, but to do what they do night after night, so good, so consistent, you can't ever take that for granted. You got to appreciate it, and you got to almost empty your register every night about expectations and just appreciate it every day. And when you have greatness and you get to see it every day, you lose the appreciation. And I think that's when people say, well, fans get spoiled, or coaches get spoiled, we all get, you can't do that. You got to be like, man, this is pretty special, and this guy's pretty special, and you appreciate him for that. And I think that's the approach that I want to keep taking. But it's amazing how quickly you just slide into that, and like, oh, you got 21 and 9 or what, 9 rebounds or whatever, and no, you got double. Yeah, and I don't even like a double, and I don't even know. We like, come on. But that's what I'm talking about. It's like, oh yeah, Tyson got a double. That's hell of a job in a conference game. So that's where I want to keep coming from every day, and I pray that I can keep doing it. So.